and it ain't going to be easy to go through. I know it's going to anger a lot of you, but it's kind of a follow-up with my interview that I did with Eric about nuisance streamers. And this is going to be one of those things where it's like, what the hell? If you're easily offended, heads up. If you're going to punch your screen, I'm sorry. So let's get to it. Ramzi Khalid Ismail, also known as Johnny Somali, had his trial date. And Legal Mindset did a whole live stream last night calling him out. Now, Johnny is one of the, I guess, founding fathers of being these nuisance criminal streamers. And like before, he showed up late to his criminal trial. 10 minutes, not an hour late like he did the last time. And he did a stunt before he went live. But before anything else, let's look at the facts of the matter, okay? First of all, shout out to Legal Mindset. This is his correct post update. It appears Ramzi has stated he intended to plead not guilty on the new obstruction charge, but a guilty plea was entered for his new charge by his lawyer, whether accidentally or not. And this has now been confirmed by Korean media as of this post. I have updated my chart with the appropriate annotation to the new obstruction charges. So, obstruction of business count 1, max 5 years, he pled guilty to. Minor Crimes Act count, fine 30 days. Rotten fish harassment, guilty. Minor Crimes Act count 2, fine 30 days. Disrupting the metro system, guilty. As someone who's been to Japan, South Korea has a very timely system as well. You mess with the buses and the trains, pray. Best start praying to God. Obstruction of business count 2, max 5 years. Loud music on a bus, guilty. Now, deep fake count 1 and 2, Korean streamer kiss, and then Bong Bong. He pleaded not guilty to both of those. And when the judge asked his lawyer, do you have anything showing him not being guilty? The lawyer said no. Obstruction of business count 3, max 5 years. Lotte World, where he played adult material around children, he pled guilty to. And he also decided to do a stunt. Now, Legal Mindset, I would never want to make him an enemy. He's hey, I want to be a friend, because apparently he's got eyes and ears everywhere in South Korea. Yes, that's Johnny Somali wearing and YouTube, I want you to, YouTube, I'm covering hold on, because YouTube might have a hard time hearing. YouTube, hi, speaking to you directly. This is a newsworthy event because it has to deal with, again, the international relations between United States and South Korea, but also because of tourism and the actions of Johnny Somali, which has become a newsworthy event covered by mainstream South Korean media, as well as online and U.S. media here in the States. And yes, that's Johnny Somali wearing a custom-made black KKK outfit. And that's his best friend in the whole wide world, Hank Q, who, by the way, in South Korea, yes, don't worry, I'm going to play you the video of what he's saying. That is him, Hank Q, who, by the way, in South Korea, you do know that service is mandatory. Like, Hank, you got to serve in the South Korean military. So, this is not going to be easy. This will not be fun. But here you go. This is Johnny's words. This is clearly somebody who is deranged or something of that nature. In my opinion, something's wrong. But he thought this was a good idea. Now, this came from the YouTube channel Mist. They've actually, promoted some of our coverage as well of Johnny Somali and Vitelli. So I want to give them a shout out here.
I have a dream that the war against famous black men will end.
You're not famous, Johnny. You're famous for being a scumbag.
I have a nightmare that the only crime that turned previous heroes like Ye, P. Diddy, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, and Johnny Somali into villains was their melanin. I have a vision that if the great Kanye Omari West was born as Connor Owen Wesley, he would still have his children. Kim Kardashian, bring them home. The Zionists stole his children. I have a reality that there is a war against black people. And the Koreans have always been the foot soldiers of white supremacy. I have a truth that I am the modern day Letitia Harley, and I am being assassinated by modern day rooftop Koreans. I have a dream that I may not be sentenced to 10 years of hard labor in South Korea for the simple crime of spilling a cup of noodles. Seriously, that is my main goal. I have.
This guy, what he has done in Japan, making racial remarks, talking about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, as somebody who's visited Hiroshima and seen the Peace Museum, why would you want to make a joke about something like that? Okay? I've been to Hiroshima. I've been there. To my audience, if you ever get the privilege to visit Japan and go to Hiroshima, if you see the Peace Museum, none of you are going to leave this live stream without not being told. Prepare yourself. You will not walk out the same. Everything in that museum will change you. Some of you may cry. Some of you may feel angry. I actually bought a book when I was there in 2020. And it stays with you. Always. It does. I wasn't ready. But this is a guy who wants to go out there and harass people. Go to these other countries and do this. And then he had the audacity to go to South Korea and disrespect the comfort women statues, the women who were victims of war crimes. You're not a hero, Johnny. You're not anything. You're just scum.
Been assaulted, defamed, lied about, spat on, and called racist names by the Korean public, awaiting this trial. Or should I say, modern day lynching? I am a comedian. If my skin was white and my name were Sacha Baron Cohen, would this be my fate? We live in a clown world where Zionists are protected, but melanated Jews such as myself and Kanye West lose $1 million deals.
Ugh.
In contrast, and are put into psych ward. Dear Asian, you cried out, stop Asian hate. And we heard you. We listened. But I ask you now, do Black Lives Matter to Koreans? Please free me from the shackles of oppression. The only thing I'm guilty of is love speech.
Yeah, so love speech. So, the streamer Johnny Somali, Ramsey Ishmael, he traveled into South Korea in 2024 and began causing all of his controversy. So he pleaded not guilty to the deep fake charges, which again, his lawyer, as I stated before, couldn't provide any evidence of his innocence, something that Somali declines, like he didn't do anything. He pled guilty to obstruction of business. And he is looking at, again, a maximum count of 15 years alone for his previous charges that he pled guilty to. And that each deep fake charges carries a penalty of 10.5 years in total. So he's looking kind of screwed here, folks. And he also made a lot of threats to a lot of people, threatening to spread STDs and HIV. He violated anti-terrorism laws and was spreading North Korean propaganda. So, wow, dude. Classy guy. Pure evil. Or is that just scumbag material altogether? But there was so many people, especially covering legal mindsets coverage, that we actually had a chance to see Johnny leave the courtroom while wearing a MAGA hat. Look, Trump isn't going to save him.
Piss off.
Bro, Johnny, don't crash out in the courthouse, bro. Don't crash out in the courthouse, bro.
And of course, Hank was still upset with him too. Look.
Ryan, aren't you like 40 something? Yeah.
Johnny, don't crash out in the courthouse. Don't crash out in the courthouse.
So that was him leaving the courtroom. His next trial date's going to be sometime in August. So June, July, and he has all the rest of May too. That's his next time. Like, see, for him, he's going to be there. And for those of you wondering, well, how come this isn't moving fast? South Korea, at least according to Legal Mindset, I want to give full credit to him. The South Korean legal system is very familiar to or similar to the land of Deutschland. So in Germania, that's why things are moving a little bit slow. So Johnny Somali, he is probably going to get his just reward or just desserts. We'll see what happens in the long run to him. But he's one of those people who, do you feel sorry for him? In fact, let's have democracy in the chat. You think it's going too far for Johnny? Should there be mercy? Type 1 for yes, Kit. Mercy is nobility's highest honor. A type 2, no. Drop the warhammer on him. Do it. The correct answer is 2, maybe, in my opinion. But that is the news on the ground. And I want to say it again, why I talk about this, or at least why would I bring it up during the show? I am worried that the more these nuisance streamers do come around, it's going to impact every single content creator, not only here on YouTube, but on X, on Kick, Twitch, Rumble, all of the platforms. I see it being a problem, and we got to stop these nuisance criminal streamers before it gets out of hand. Now, these guys have broken laws in different countries, and some countries, listen, South Korea has its own system, so does Japan. We already know about the Philippines. There have been reports about this one nuisance streamer in Thailand. And as Eric mentioned, who I had on the show earlier, Thailand has a whole other treasure trove of laws there. Beautiful country. But if you're going to take a dump in somebody's backyard and them not stepping up and wanting to slap you in the mouth, you don't want to mess around these other countries. You don't want that to happen. All right? And, you know what? Hold on. I hope I'm proven wrong on this. But I'm willing to bet that there's going to be some brain dead nuisance streamer, somebody who's going to be really stupid. And I mean a special kind of stupid that's going to try and pull some shite in either North Korea or China. I see it. I see it happening. Somebody's going to be dumb. And the thing is, folks, don't get depressed, but there are dumb people out there. Very stupid, very dumb people out there. And somebody might test the waters in North Korea. Just trust me on it. I see it happening. Why? Because nothing surprises me more on the internet. Nothing surprises me anymore on the internet. There we go. I stuttered there. Nothing surprises me on the internet anymore.